Well, I became goalkeeper at the age of 15, a little bit old. I was a striker and I didn't like it at all. I was canceling trainings all the time and I didn't find joy anymore in playing soccer. And then my coach told me, hey, why don't you try playing as a goalkeeper, because we need one, and I see you have way more passion in that job. So yeah, I tried it and I fell in love with it, and I became kind of obsessed with it. From canceling trainings, I started to ask more and more trainings, and everything led up to be a professional goalkeeper. So yeah. It's a game of inches. Yeah, the smallest details, they make a very big difference between a hero or zero, and you just have to be present all the time. You can't be thinking too much about the future or about the past, but you always stay as present as possible. Deal with the pressure, and if you can't stand the heat, you have to get out of the kitchen, they say. The mental aspect for me is the most important job as a goalkeeper. Living in America is very far from my families and friends, which of course is also hard for your mental health, but also if I go to actually the playing side, is facing with injuries, setbacks, people who don't have trust in you, all that kinds of stuff that is like a big challenge. But I believe challenges are there for a reason, and if it was easy, everyone would do it, I believe. So yeah, it always comes with tough mental tasks, but yeah, I'm up for it. For me, the most important thing is to get rid of distractions and take good rest. But yeah, what I say, stay as present as possible, and I do that through different ways. We overvalue our physical side of preparation, and we undervalue our mental side of preparation. That's also warming up before a game, for example. So breath work or meditation. I use, of course, alpha beats. I think one of the key things for me is to get focused, is to just watch at a point. If certain thoughts come up, accept those thoughts and put them to the side and refocus on an object again. And I believe that's one of the big aspects of alpha beats as well. Other thing that I believe is motivational self-talk, watch motivational clips. I think like a lot of times when things get heated, we tend to talk negative to yourself and like think what could go wrong, and yeah, if you can flip that switch a little bit and go more into the positive thoughts, then yeah, those matter way more than the negative thoughts. It's all in your head, so yeah, just get rid of those negativity and just embrace every challenge. I think with every challenge there's certain stuff that can go wrong, especially in my occupation, but just focus on what could happen in a positive way. Like for me, it's always kind of a weird feeling where one day you're feeling like you can beat the world, and the other day sometimes you're a little bit more insecure or uncertain about stuff. And I believe if you have certain habits that are always there, you can always improve in habits. You can always rely on those habits and always say like, oh, I've done everything before the game to get me into that state of zone or get me in that state of present. And I think with alpha beats, that's one of the key things is preparing me for big matches, is just to get that scientifically proven alpha and beta brain waves. For me, it's also a key, the recovery, because I believe as we prepare and recover the body, we also should prepare and recover our brain. So, for example, after a game, I normally can't sleep. And I saw a big improvement over my sleep using alpha beats after games as well. There's a lot of adrenaline always after my game, and if I use alpha beats, the slightest details, they make a big difference. And for example, the upcoming weeks, we play 8 games in 3 weeks. With all the travel here, it's pretty decent amount. So yeah, I believe that recovery also for your brain is very important in that case, to refocus the next day again. There's days where I feel like I wake up, and with the time difference with Holland is 7 hours further in the day, and you get a lot of messages already from Holland. So sometimes when I'm opening my phone and I'm seeing like, oh, I'm directly awake and I want to go back to like my waking up stage. So I think that's a great time to use alpha beats, just in the morning, where you can start a day off fresh and without any distractions. And sometimes also after my practices, where I like to take a nap in the afternoon, but not too long. And sometimes instead of a nap, you can just take like a 20-minute relaxation alpha beats, where you take a break from your phone and all the social media and all the craziness in the world and refocus, so you can have balance in the rest of your day. So I think that's very important. It's great to recover all your thoughts that you gained in the day, and it's a big difference if you calm before you sleep to wake up in a way calmer state as well. If I make a mistake, then it's directly a goal. And if I make a save, then I prevented a goal directly. So it's just a position, I think, that has a lot of responsibility. And my mother doesn't like to watch it because it can be very nerve-wracking for other people. But for me, it's just, I love that challenge and I embrace that challenge where I can have a lot of responsibility and where I have to make sure that every single detail is there. I think it's not in big improvements every day. I think it's in every day. If you can gain 1% in every aspect of life, you compound that. If you just look to improve your life, be very willing to improve yourself in that sense, then you can become a better version of yourself. I believe from my generation with social media, it's every day a big hustle to get out of that distraction. So for us, it's a big tool to look into certain stuff to create a better mental health, because I believe we're in a phase where it's so new that we don't know the results yet of social media for our brain, for example. So I believe it's the younger you start with that, getting better in those areas, I think you'll have a massive advantage. Last year, I locked myself up in my own apartment and didn't do anything. And this year, I took a more active approach in doing more stuff with friends here, go outside and do some fun stuff. It's very good to sometimes be 25 as well, instead of only being inside and only take care of serious stuff. So I think a balance in that is very important, because then you can relax your brain as well sometimes, instead of being switched on all the time. So everyone always thinks athletes are a little bit like robots and they can take everything, but we're also human. And just because people pay tickets for our games, it doesn't mean you can slander us like we're robots. It's not easy. If a whole stadium, for example, whistles you or boo you, I think to get that balance and that stable, constant feeling in your head, it's a tough task. That's one of the things that we have to take into account. 17 to my 22, I had a mental coach as well, who was helping me on the side. And I think as well, a lot of people think, they only train in the morning and then in the afternoons they're just playing video games and stuff like that. There's also a lot of sacrifice into that, and a lot of rest where we just can't do certain stuff because we have to take a rest, get those distractions before games, or to save some energy. We're not lazy, we just need to do that to make enough energy for the next days. Alpha Beats is scientifically proven. It's a great balance between focusing and relaxation. It's also more into our generation, I believe, where it's not I'm not a guy who is very high-spirity, but I just believe we have very much to gain in the world of where we do stuff with our brain, and having 12 or 14 hours phone usage a day isn't really helping us into getting better focus or success. Alpha Beats, it's a very it's translating to our generation very well, and I believe it's very easy to use. Also with the music, it's just easy. It's for our generation, easier to use. It's not as high-spirity where people have this stigma about meditation or anything else. That's a major advantage for Alpha Beats. I can be a little bit crazy. I have a very good memory, photographical memory. A lot of people, they're always amazed, especially by the things that I like. I remember the craziest stuff, But I listen. I think that's a better way how to explain it. Penalty kicks, it's one of the things in soccer or football that's easier to translate into scientific stuff, and we do our homework very well. And if we're playing a game, then I can just remember very clearly which penalty taker takes it into which corner, or certain habits that they have. With the right focus exercises, they can go even better. There's a certain stigma into mental health and meditation. I just really believe that you train your brains to be prepared for a game, or for a test at school, or for anything that you're up for and you're maybe a little bit anxious about. And it's just a great tool to get more into that focus, and to get less distractions of your phone or of other people's opinion, or just to focus on yourself and to create the best results for yourself. Hard work is definitely more important. As I said, I started goalkeeping when I was 15, and there were people who had 8 years in advance of me, and just because I worked really hard and I loved it a lot, I created my own talent. So I believe hard work pays off at the end.